Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's Monday, March the 6th, 7 p.m. And I'd just like to report we have all our council people here tonight despite the bad weather. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest in general nature thereof? Seeing none, can I have somebody move, or if you have any errors or omissions to the minutes of the previous meeting from February 21st? A mover is Councillor Nordoff, seconder. Councillor Kingma, all those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Under correspondence, item 5A, upcoming conferences, seminars, and meetings. Our next council meeting, and it'll focus on planning, is Monday, March the 20th at 7 p.m. And the next regular council meeting will be Monday, April the 3rd, also at 7 p.m. 5B of our agenda, recommended readings. The first one is St. Clair Conservation Authority, their annual report. And Betty Ann, is there anything you want to comment on, or is it self-explanatory?
I'd like to comment on 2C. Does any counselor have a name that they would like to put forward for any of the scholarships that are being offered? It's for students that are pursuing post-secondary studies in the environmental field. So if you have anyone that you'd like to suggest, do it as soon as possible so their name can get in. And the other thing is just look at what's available in sessions. The W. Campbell Park Maple Syrup Festival is coming up. There's planting native species sessions that's available, and the soil health and nutrient management session that you may be interested in. So.
Okay, thank you. The third item under recommended reading is Middlesex London Health Unit, the Board of Health meeting summary from February the 16th, 2023. And the fourth item, CC4, is Main Street Credit Union, the Strathroy District Chamber of Commerce, 22nd Annual Business Excellence Award. So they're looking for nominations, and I believe there's 3 or 4 different categories. So if you know of anybody or anybody who's watching, please submit their name. Under action required, CC5, we have a resolution from the municipality of Trent Lakes regarding oath of office. Betty Ann?
I'd like to suggest that we support the resolution.
Okay. Any comments? Councillor Kingma?
Sorry. I'd like it if we could file it. I think we can honor treaty rights without altering the oath of office. And by pledging allegiance to King Charles III, we are de facto endorsing respect for the treaties signed to the Crown.
Okay, thank you. So we have, I think you made a motion, Betty Ann. Is there a seconder for that? Seeing none, we'll file that. CC6, the resolution from Niagara Region, a declaration of emergency for homelessness, mental health, and opioid addiction. CC7, we have a resolution. The Women of Ontario Say No, Bill number 5, the Stopping Harassment and Abuse by Local Leaders Act. Councillor McKinnon?
I know that our code of conduct addresses workplace harassment, but I'd like to see council support the resolution.
Okay. And I believe that for those that are watching, the request is I think it was not so much they're saying barriers for women in politics. I'm on the wrong one, sorry, CC7. That was with regards to people who have been accused, is that what it is?
Yes.
But not convicted,
Yes.
not be able to run for public
For
office.
public office.
Okay. Any support for that? Any other support? Councillor Kingma?
Sorry. I would like it if we could file that only because I think the integrity commissioner can issue penalties as he sees fit, and I'd like him to retain that latitude.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Councillor McKinnon?
Councillor Kingma is correct. The conduct code, our code of conduct does address that, and the integrity officer does have it. But I still feel we should support this motion.
Is there a seconder? Seeing none, we'll file that. CC number 8. This is the resolution from the town of Grimsby for the barriers for women in politics. CC number 9, we have a resolution from the town of Grimsby, changes to the municipal heritage register, sorry. Councillor Kingma?
I think I can support that. I'd like the status quo. I know Bill 23 has interfered with some of our influence over this issue, but I would like municipalities to have an even greater say than they currently do about what constitutes a heritage property.
Okay, is there any other comments? Are you making that a motion that you'd like to support that? So we have a motion on the floor to support CC 9, the resolution, Town of Grimsby changes to the municipal heritage register. Is there a seconder? Seeing none, that'll be filed. CC number 10, we have a resolution, the Township of Ashfield, Colburn, Wawanosh, future accuracy of the permanent register of electors. Councillor Kingma?
I can support that one as well. I think what the resolution is saying is already going to happen anyway, so let's just go along with that.
Any other comments? A seconder for that? Okay, seeing none, so could I have a motion that council receive and file council correspondence CC number 1 through to and including CC number 10? Moved by Councillor McKinnon, seconded by Councillor Brody. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, we're now going to go into the staff reports. The first one is the Morrow Drain maintenance tender results, and Andrew is not here tonight, so our Public Works Manager, Coulter Cahill, is going to deliver that report. So I'll turn it over to you, Coulter.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Clark. As mentioned, I'm going to do Andrew's report tonight. That's in regards to the Morrow Drain maintenance tender results. In late 22, Adelaide Metcalfe received a request to carry out drain maintenance on the Morrow Drain. Below you will see a map, just for your reference. After the request was submitted, staff made multiple visits to the site to determine a reasonable approach for the scope of the project. In order to provide the best result, brushing and a clean out should be undertaken for the entire length of the drain in Adelaide Metcalfe. Notices were sent out to all the landowners assessed to the drain to notify them and to see if they had any concerns. There was favorable feedback that maintenance should be carried out. Further to that, it was generally recognized that it had been several years since a project of this scope has been done. Notice of tenders for the brushing and clean out of the Morrow Drain were issued on Thursday, February 2nd and closed on Thursday, February 22nd at 12 o'clock noon by myself and Nicole Lewis. The results are attached. Again, that's below. Financial impact. All drain maintenance costs for this project will be assessed to the lands and roads under the authority of the Drainage Act. This process will be done by using the same proportions outlined in the schedule of assessment and the governing bylaw on file. The recommendation below is to approve the tender received by J&L Henderson Limited. And I'll open up for any questions.
So Counselor Brody?
Yeah, just a question, Colder, and maybe because Andrew's not here, but just such a swing in this quote.
Yeah,
Are you, I hope,
Is it right?
wow,
Yeah.
and I hope we'll be monitoring that job because I mean, that's an extreme from 1, 2, and 3. I mean, all of them aren't even close to each other, so.
no, for sure, Councilor Brody. I know Andrew did reach out to J&L Henderson to make sure that they were aware of the scope of the project, just because there was such a difference. And they acknowledge that they are aware of it. They have done a few drains like this in the south. I know they have 2 large excavators that they put on with pretty large buckets, so they are aware of the scope of the project. So
Yeah, and it could very well be they're set up to do this job better than the rest, and I get that, but.
yeah, no, we definitely saw the same thing.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Are there any other questions for Coulter? Seeing none, we have a recommendation before us that council approve the tender received from J&L Henderson Limited in the amount of $52,550 plus HST for the maintenance on the Morrow drain. Could I have a mover? Counselor Brody. Seconded by Counselor Nordoff. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. 6B, I'll turn this one over to our treasurer, Johnny, for the 2022 council remuneration report.
Thank you, Mayor Clark. Through you to council. We have the 2022 council remuneration report presented outlining all earnings paid to council for the previous year. This report is a legislative requirement under the Municipal Act to provide this information to council and the public to be open and transparent. The recommendation is to receive the report as presented, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Is there any questions for our treasurer? Seeing none, we have a recommendation that the council remuneration report for 2022 be received for information. Moved by Councillor McKinnon, seconded by Councillor Nordoff. All those in favor, and that's carried. Thank you. And the last staff report is 6C, the storage barn update for the Kerwood Park, and I'll turn that over again to our Public Works Manager, Coulter Cahill.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Clark. As part of the 2023 budget, council approved the recommendation from staff to allocate funds towards updating the storage barn roof, soffit, fascia, and eaves trough to protect and prolong the building for the foreseeable future. This is the storage barn at the Kerwood Park. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. This facility is well used by the Kerwood Fire Department, as we all are aware, and local organizations to store equipment throughout the year. Following the procurement policy, we obtained quotes from qualified contractors to install a new roof soffit, fascia, and eaves trough on the Kerwood Park barn. Multiple quotes came back at almost half of the budget amount of $20,000 for labor and material to complete this project. So I guess today, basically just figuring out which way to go with the remaining funds. And it was recommended that we change the scope of work to include siding over the existing block walls on the storage building. By doing this, it will give the entire building a facelift to better align with the new look at the Kerwood Park and protect the building. Financial impact, by quoting out this project early in the year, staff were able to obtain favorable pricing on the original scope of this project. Due to the savings, staff are requesting to repurpose the remaining budgeted funds to add siding, as I mentioned, to the entire building. Overall, there should be zero impact to the 2023 budget.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for Coulter? Councillor Brody?
Just a comment, I think that's a great idea. I think it'll match the 10 with the new building and look way better, and we'll still be in what we've got for budget. So I think it's a great idea.
Well, to extend the life of the building, which is important.
Sure.
So, yeah. Councillor McKinnon?
Through you, Mayor Sue, to Coulter. Is there, or does the cement flooring in the building require repair? I seem to recall a crack and maybe it heaved a bit. So I wondered if we should be attending to that if it is needing repair.
Thank you, Councillor McKinnon. There is a few cracks in the floor inside on the concrete. I know we've talked about it. And I think it is something that we're going to hopefully work towards putting some sort of a slurry coat or leveling coat in there eventually. I just think I would like to see these funds go to making that building look more presentable when you drive in. So, but that is definitely on the radar.
Thank you.
Okay, and Councillor Kingma?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mayor Clark. Through you to Coulter, I wholeheartedly endorse the siding. I'm also curious as to whether there's merit to insulating and heating the pump room as well, just in case there's a desire for year-round water availability in the future.
That is definitely something that we could look at and maybe work towards. I can possibly come back with something in next year's budget, and we can chat about it for sure.
And Councillor Nordhoff?
Yeah, through the mayor to Coulter, just a couple of things. One is I'm hoping to be vinyl siding versus aluminum.
We haven't quite quoted it out yet. I can definitely take that into consideration.
Because aluminum
sure.
siding, if you hit it, it dents and it's junk.
Yeah.
Vinyl siding is very forgiving. The other thing is the access to the loft should be changed because the one that's there now is very difficult to access, and there's lots of room for storage upstairs.
No, absolutely. There's a few things that we would like to change if we are planning on keeping that building, which I think we kind of made that a point, but definitely make that access a lot bigger for sure.
Well, that's all constructive feedback for you, I hope. So yeah, okay, so we have if there's no other questions, we have a recommendation that council approve the amendment to the scope of the original Kerwood Park Barn Improvement Capital Project to include siding. Further, that council direct staff to proceed with obtaining quotes in accordance with the township procurement policy. Can I have a mover for that? Moved by Councillor Nordhoff, seconded by Councillor Brody, and all those in favor, and that's carried. Thank you. Okay, item 7 on the agenda, we have a recommendation that council adjourn to closed session at 7:18 p.m. pursuant to section 2392 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended to discuss the following matter. A proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, land disposition being Panel Lane, and the council adjourn to closed session pursuant to section 2393.1 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended for the purpose of education or training the members, municipal accountability and municipal conflict of interest act education session. Could I have a mover for that? Moved by Councillor Kingma, seconded by Councillor McKinnon. All those in favor? And that's carried. We'll now go into closed session.